Hi, this is Dan Sherman. Welcome to LinkedIn to Action. And I'm really glad you're watching this video first because I'm going to tell you about the updates that LinkedIn has made. Now, in the summer of 2012, LinkedIn redesigned the site. So it works exactly the same way. The only thing is some of the buttons have moved and some of the links have changed. And it's so you'll be going through the program and you'll be saying, okay, I want to do this that Dan is teaching me. Where is that link he's talking about? Well, in the summer of 2012, LinkedIn decided to move some of the features. They decided to add a couple of features, and they also took away a couple of features. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the redesign of the summer of 2012, just to tell you where everything is and what is basically new about LinkedIn, so that as you go through the program, you'll know where things are located. So most of the changes are happening with profiles, with people's profiles. So let's go through, first of all, your home screen. As you see, here's the home screen. And a couple of things that LinkedIn added on the home screen was they added a little envelope up here where you can hover over it and we'll show you all your invitations and messages. So this little thing is new. And then this little flag is new over here. They tried to make it a lot like Facebook where you have notifications. So they added this little flag up here where you can have your notifications of people who like your update as you see, or someone viewed my profile, or who viewed my profile, or who liked my update. So it's kind of like Facebook in terms of the functionality of they've added a notification feature. So again, nothing earth-shattering, but just small little things that they did in the summer of 2012. I think in an attempt to kind of make it look more like Facebook and maybe act a little bit more like Facebook. So let's go to your profile. Let's go to View Profile, and I'll show you some of the changes that they made in the profile. Now, in the summer of 2012 redesign, they made the photo much bigger because they know people like photographs. So your photo is much bigger, and that means it's even that much more important to have a professional headshot. One of the things that they changed was you used to be able to go to contacts and you used to be able to click on a link that said network statistics that would show you all the people in your first, second, and third level connections. Okay, they got rid of that feature. I'm not sure why, but now if you want to find out how many connections you have to go to LinkedIn Home, and then you have to scroll down on the right, and that'll show you how many people are in your LinkedIn network. So it's just a little different. Before you could check network statistics, now you got to go to LinkedIn Home and it'll tell me how many people are in my first level connections. And then here is my total 23 million people. That's my total first, second, and third level connections down here. So it's a little bit different. They moved some things around a little bit. Okay. Another thing you're going to notice that changed with LinkedIn is when you did a status update, you used to see it down here where this blue button is. You used to have your status update here. They changed that. Now what they have is instead, along the right-hand side, they've got activity. So you see here Dan's activity. So here is where your status update is going to show up instead of being underneath your name. So again, nothing earth-shattering. They just move some things around a little bit. So other things that are different now because of the redesign, they used to display the number of recommendations that you have right up here in this top information box. They took that away. So they don't have that number anymore of how many recommendations you have. However, it's still really important to have recommendations so that when people come to your profile, they read all through your recommendations. They can see how many you have. It's just LinkedIn doesn't display the actual number anymore. Scrolling down a little bit here, here's your public profile URL. This is where you would edit that. So if you go to Profile, Edit Profile, the public profile URL used to be sort of in line with all these things. Now it's down here. So here's where you click Edit to edit your public profile URL. And this page is still the same. You still go over here and you customize your public profile URL. They just changed the location of it. It used to be sort of in line here. Now it's just down at the bottom. Okay, just want to point out where that is. Speaking of moving things, in this lineup right here, they used to show your websites. Now they added this little Rolodex icon right here, and that's where they put your websites. They hid them. So now you can still list 3 websites in your top part of your profile, except that they're hidden underneath this little Rolodex icon. So here's your 3 websites, okay, where you click and you edit them, and that's still the same. And then here's where you add your Twitter, and here's where you add your email, your phone, your instant messaging, and your address, okay? So all that stuff used to be available right up here. Now they just hid it behind this little Rolodex. So I just wanted to let you know that. Let's see, no specialty box under the summary. Yeah, I wanted to tell you about that. Here is the summary, and I have a specialty section right here. Well, everybody who joins after the summer of 2012 is not going to have this feature. LinkedIn took this away. So let me show you what I mean by that. So we go to summary, you go to edit, and you'll see I have 2 boxes. I've got a box with 2,000 characters with my summary, and then I've got a box here down here with my specialties. Well, if you join after the summer of 2012, you're not going to have this little box here. So it's not that big a deal. If you joined before summer of 2012, you're going to have that. If you joined after the summer of 2012, you're not going to have that extra little box, but that's okay, because in your summary you get 2,000 characters, and you can always add them to the bottom of this box right down here instead of having that extra box right there. If you want to add skills to your website, that's still the same. You would go to more skills and expertise, and then you would type in your expertise, and you can add that marketing leadership, okay? Add that just the way you always did before. So if you join after summer 2012, though, you're just not going to have that special box, okay? So that's some of the design changes. Let me give you a few more. Now, when you go to your inbox and you look at your invitations, people are going to be inviting you to become connections with you. So they changed the name of one of these buttons. It used to say accept, I don't ignore, and I don't know this person. So now the buttons say accept, ignore, and report spam. And the reason why they did that is because people would just click on I don't know this person if they happen to not know that person. And what they didn't realize was that when you click on that I don't know button, it becomes a red flag. It becomes sort of a black mark on your record with LinkedIn. And if you have too many of those I don't knows, then LinkedIn puts some restrictions on your account in terms of who you can invite. So they changed the button to say report spam to really tell people that this is very important. And if you push that, then people are going to know that, or LinkedIn is going to know that you're inviting people that you shouldn't. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that the accept, ignore, I don't know buttons are now accept, ignore, and report spam. Let me tell you some more changes that they made in the applications. This is very basic, but they dropped 3 of the applications that they used to have. They used to have a Twitter application. They used to have a Google Presentations application, and they used to have something called Huddle Workspaces. So to get around that, Google Presentations is you can use Creative Portfolio Display to put cool things on your profile, and then of course you can always use SlideShare up here, which is the same as Google Presentations. As far as Twitter, they sort of cut ties with Twitter in the summer of 2012, so that isn't around, and they didn't replace anything with Huddle Workspaces. Finally, on your profile, they changed one of the pages and they changed the Add Connections page. So now it looks really, really different. There used to be a box where you could put in email addresses, and they just changed the look and feel of this page. So if you, it still works the same way. You can see who you already know by adding in your email addresses and clicking continue. And if you want to add email addresses in bulk, then you need to click on any email, which is this little icon right here, the little envelope, and then you need to scroll down and you need to click on invite by individual email like that. And so here is the box that used to be over on the right, but here is the box where you put all the email addresses if you decide to become an open networker and you want to invite 50 or 100 people at a time. This is where you would put those email addresses. And remember to only, if you're going to do that, remember to only put in email addresses of open networkers here. Otherwise, you're going to get those black marks that I told you about. So you would put your email addresses of open networkers in this box, click send invitations, and then you will be able to invite people in bulk. So that's the contacts, add connections pages that they changed. Now, those are the changes to your profile. Well, what if you land on somebody else's profile? There's a few changes that they made in that regard as well. So let me go to a first level connection. A friend of mine who is a resume writer and a social media person, Amy Campbell, and I'm just going to use her as an example. Now, so if I land on a first level connection, there are some changes here. This little box over here, that used to have a whole bunch of links, but they've replaced it with a nice big ad. And that's because LinkedIn's a public company and they need to make money. So a lot of the features that are over here are now underneath the initial wording of the person's profile. For example, there used to be a link over here that says send message when you land on a first level connection. Now it's under here. It's just right under their name. So they just moved it from the right to underneath the person. The second thing that they've changed is they added this drop-down menu. In the old days, this recommend link was up in this box where there's an ad now. So if you land on somebody's profile who's a first level connection and you want to recommend them, you can't click a link up here. You got to go to the drop-down menu and then click on recommend from the drop-down menu. The next thing is there used to be tabs underneath the person's gray information box where you can do a bunch of things. That's now in the drop-down menu as well. So from here, you export to a PDF, you can save it, you can share it. So those tabs that used to be underneath the person's profile are now in this drop-down menu. So, you know, they've kind of made it, I guess, a little sleeker, a little cleaner, if you will, by having things in a drop-down menu. But if you didn't know where they were, they'd be hard to find. And again, if you wanted to find Amy's websites, you'd need to click on the little Rolodex card, and there you would find her websites. You would find her Twitter buttons, her email address, her phone, her instant message, and her address. So that's where they put everything. So basically, they've taken everything that was here and they've hidden it here, and they've taken everything that was over on the right, they put an ad there, and they hid it in a drop-down menu. So that's basically the changes that they've made. They've just kind of made the interface a little cleaner. Now, one more interface change that I want to show you. What if you land on a second level connection? So I'm just going to click on Mark here. We are not first level connections, we're second level connections. Now, there used to be a link over here that said connect, so that you connect and send this person an invitation. Well, they moved that. So you see the blue button down here? That's where they put the connect button, where you send Mark an invitation. That link used to be over here, where there's now a big ad. See, here's an ad for Hertz. So LinkedIn is making some money. You know, it's a nice big ad. They've just taken everything that was here and moved it to here. Here's your drop-down menu again. Okay, and then here's your connect button, and all these things, send InMail, these things used to be over here, and then everything here used to be up here. So those are the changes that I wanted to tell you about. They basically moved things around a little bit. All the functionality is still there, except for those two things that I told you about. They took out the network statistics. But everything still works the same. They just changed the location a little bit. So I want to thank you for watching this update video. You're now ready to dive into the program and see how LinkedIn can help you become more successful in terms of meeting people and networking with people. So you're ready to take the course. Thanks for watching this update video. So now you know exactly where all the features are. And I will see you on LinkedIn.